Hey everyone! Right, part 2. Now I've got, my cover has dried. It was a little bent out of shape because of all the water I'd put on it, so I've just sort of been pushing it back into shape so I can get things fairly square. There we go. So that's my cover. My pages were sorted, and all I've done is I've gone in and just made sure that every page that I want is sort of where I want it. So a lot of them are all the same size, but the odd ones which are a different size, like that one slipped, I've just made sure I've put them where I want them for when I punch holes in to sew them together. So if I move those out of the way for the moment. Right, the book cloth that I've painted, I've trimmed it to size, so all I've done, I've made it the same size as my paper, so 8 1/4, although obviously 8 1/4 paper is a bit longer than 8 1/4, but I don't mind that. So I've trimmed it to size. I've just trimmed it. As for the edging, I think this is about 5 1/4. That one is. I don't worry too much about the side bits as long as it's not excessively long. I just go on and trim off all the rough bits. Now what I have done is I have scored it 1 3/4 across, because that's the width of my spine, so, and it makes it lining up inside easier. Now I need to punch holes in this. Now I've marked on it, when I scored it I actually marked the centre, so top and bottom, so I can get this reasonably straight. Push it in so you can see it. I can get it reasonably straight on my mat for when I use a template to punch my holes in. To put the well, it's not punching, is it? It's using an awl. Right, so I've got that taped down, and then I use a template, so on here you can see this is 1 3/4, which is the width of my spine, and I've got 6 signatures. So I've marked out 6. So I folded it in home. This one's falling apart, so it's well used. I try not to replace them. They are a bit of a faff to make. But I have also got the centre of this one marked, so I can line it up top and bottom with where I want it. And then another bit of tape. I have always got sticky bits on my desk, and then an awl. I used to use my husband's brad-awl. Didn't go down too well, but hey ho. Right, now I can see that one, so much for marking in the centre, because that isn't quite following my lines, so I'm just going to move it over a touch so I can get it in the middle of my score lines. Now I'm not saying my score lines are perfect, because the fabric does have a tendency to move for me on my scoreboard. That's a bit better. And then it's just a question of punching holes ready to, or poking holes ready for sewing. I find that by doing it this way I get a uniform holes, and because I also use this to do my book pages, which is why it's falling apart, they're all in the same place. But that's just my preferred way of doing it. Right, I'll shut up and I'll finish doing this, and I'll see you in the mo. Bits of tape on there for next time. And you can see I've got all my, or maybe you can't actually, the light. What I find what makes it easier for me to actually see the holes is just to then, because I can't get so much pressure when I'm doing it onto the mat. For me, this is the easiest way of doing it. So all I'm doing is I am just going back through the holes, making them a bit bigger. It's probably it is probably a very long-winded way of doing it, but sometimes the repetition makes your brain stop working, which nowadays maybe isn't such a bad thing. Okay. Oh, I tell you what I did forget to do was mark top and bottom. I'm thinking that's my top. Because this probably isn't as equal as it could be, if I don't mark top and bottom, when I come to sew it together, yeah, that's got it. The holes will be ever so slightly out. Okay, that's that done. Pages. Same principle. When I do when I do a full-on book, journal, and I've got loads and loads of pages, book pages and all sorts of things in there, I would normally use a good old trusty peg to clamp everything together. This is a bookbinding punch. The company that I used don't sell well, they're not on Etsy anymore. I think you can get them from, okay, this is interesting. This is different paper that I've used. I've got lots and lots of different papers here. No, I think, well, but my trusty template, I don't know if you can see, is about 1/8 of an inch smaller than the actual page. So, taking the executive decision, I am going to line everything up to the top, and that way then at least everything will have the same, will be the same, right? And then it's just a question of punching holes. There we go. Right, I'll carry on doing this and I will see you in a minute. Okay. So and then it's a question of, so she making sure. I did notice as I was going through there that I was had got pages here, there and everywhere, so I'm hoping I've punched them all the right way up. So that's my top, and that one I use a medium weight bookbinding thread with medium needles. Oh, what I haven't done actually, I'm just going to mitre these edges in, so when I come to put, what I'm doing is cutting from the score line, which will be the edge of the spine. So when I come to put the end papers on, the inside pages on the cover, you won't be able to see this underneath. There we go. Top. That's the right way. So my bookbinding thread is 3 times the width. So I've measured it out, sort of, 1, 2, 3, and then cut it. I always start from the back so that you don't see the threads on the inside, like a conventional book, I suppose, rather than a lot of junk journals that you see. Okay, I've missed that one. Let's just see that through. So I'm just pulling it through, leaving enough thread at the back so I can actually. I did actually sew together a signature, and I'm thinking, wow, this is going really easy. I'm so impressed with myself, and then realised I hadn't actually sewn it to the book cloth, and it was okay. I was obviously having one of those days when my brain was elsewhere. I'm not too worried at the moment about keeping it all under tension or what have you. That will come in a moment when I've. Okay, and there's one of these pages I'm thinking. Sometimes they just don't go through, and you just have to flip the pages a few at a time. Okay, I have lost the needle. So, back in. There's that one. Okay. Patience, my dear. I have to admit, patience isn't something I am blessed with a lot of, but you make the most of what you got. And then back through. Now you can start to pull it a little bit tighter. I would normally be doing this in my lap, I have to say, rather than trying to wrestle with it on the desk. Right, now I can pull that bit tight. Not so tight that you rip your papers, but tight enough so it won't move. Okay, oh, there we go. So I've got a 5-hole pamphlet stitch in here, rather than, which is what I tend to use on my journals. So I've made sure I've got enough tension so it's under that one, and then I just do a double knot. Trim the ends. And then do number 2. Is that the right? Yep, that's the right way. Okay. So if I do 2 of these, so you can see I'm just, all it is just reversing where perhaps you'd have it tied in a bow or with little embellishments hanging off the threads in the centre. It's whatever suits your particular likes. Now I'm pretty sure you won't want to sit here and watch me do all 6 signatures. So I'll finish this one and then whiz through the rest. Back onto that one. And then tie a double knot. Oh, that's clever, I didn't even mean to do that. You'll be fine. And there we go, last one. That was actually a little more difficult because I haven't got so many pages in here, because when I do a journal, I like to use it as a journal, as a scrapbook, all sorts of, I love doing collages which also go in my journals. So sorry, I need to do this is annoying me. Okay, so I had seven pages per signature, which gave me 14 pages, if you like, so 7 pages that I'm thinking per month. So that still gives me 14 sides. So not counting the first one, I've still got 12 sides of paper to use. I think that's right. That a little half one there. But I have loads of room now to add stuff to it. Okay, right, mistake. There we go. See that page there that's sticking out? That one? That's one that I obviously flipped upside down without realising when I put my template on it to punch a hole. Now luckily this is my book, so it won't matter so much, rather than having to remake a whole signature, which I've done in the past. So that's the importance of trying to keep everything the same way. Okay. Now then, sticking down, I like to have a floating spine, so where it's not attached. The easy way of doing this would be to put glue all along the back and then just glue it to the spine. Once you've centered it, glue it to the spine, and that's done. I like to be different, so I like a floating spine because that's the way I am. Right, I've got some double-sided tape. I'm just going to run this. So if my head gets in the way, I do apologise, but I do need to be able to see what I'm doing. Just going to run this down, which will give me the initial grab for the book cloth, and then I can glue it down properly. Wrong way. I do want it on that. I want it that way, so the double-sided tape won't show. And the same on this side. Now, the way I show you that I do it is literally just the way I do it. Everybody has their own way. Everybody likes... You can watch 100 videos and have 100 different ways of doing something. I suppose really it comes down to what are you comfortable with? What works for you? Over time, this is what I found is what works for me. I'm just going to burnish this down. No, I did actually mark on here. There's a little arrow on the spine. Oh, I'm sorry, my camera's moving. Now, what I want to do is centre this as best as I can. So I know. So I'm thinking that looks about right there. So when I fold this up, let's push it down to where it should be. So I'm just checking I've got the gaps that I want top and bottom. Actually, push it up a touch. Okay. So if I hold that in place, and that's moved. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Don't move on me. Do you know, this is so much easier on a curved spine. But I suppose because the curve sort of cradles it. Okay, do you know what? It's going to go there. And I can eventually lift this off. There we go. Now I want to bring this up to meet it. You don't have to. Now I can see that that has moved. Okay, that bit might actually be cut from the video. Although, saying that, it is good because I haven't pressed it too hard. Oh, this way you start growling at your book covers. Okay. Yep, still got it up the right way. Do you know what? I'm going to lie it down. Sometimes I think it's good that you can see that everybody makes mistakes. So let's do it the easy way. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing at the back. I'm just peeling off the other bit of tape. And I am just going to press that flat. Okay. I'm still not happy with that. So I've got one side pushed down. That's what's happened. Okay, that bit has come way over and has slipped, I think. Or has it? Yes, so that bit's... Back to step one. That's top. Okay. I will get this sauced. Let's try it that way. I think because I've undone my because I've pulled it apart that much, my double-sided tape is no longer double-sided. Okay, that's obviously the way to do this. That's better. Perseverance. There we go. Right, I no longer want to sway at the book cover. And then it really is just a question. I'm gonna run out of battery in a minute. Of gluing everything down before it decides it's going to fall off again. Well, folks, the struggle is real. Right, I am going to go and swear at my glue bottle for a moment, sort my glue bottle out, and glue those down, and I'll be back with the end papers, so I will see you in a moment. Okay, end papers. Now, I managed to get my glue to work. It required washing this out, I'm assuming because it hasn't been used in what, 3-4 weeks back? One end paper I've cut to size already. A little tip perhaps for when you're cutting end papers, this one I haven't chopped up yet. I've printed these off. I always print them off a bit bigger than what I actually want. I chop off, if I've got a border, so I chop that off so I know that that edge and that edge are the right size. So I can go in and put them on and then just mark where I need to cut each cover, because each cover is cut individually. Sorry, I don't know if I actually just suddenly thought was I have camera. So I've marked at that edge and then at the front there we go, where I need to cut it, just so I can each cover is, I'm losing my charm, I'm losing the plot, because I cut each cover individually, they are a fraction of a millimetre off size. Okay, each cover will be perhaps out by 1/2 mil, something like that, but it just means my papers, I just find it easier to do that. Now, controversially, I haven't put any edging on these. I haven't gone over it with distress photo, vintage photo. I'm going to, I think, just because it's my journal and I can, and just maybe, I haven't done any of the pages, but I'm thinking this might be a bit of fun. Just a hint of black. Oh, I quite like that actually. Because of the colours that I've chosen, the black actually works really well, but I could have used, I suppose, blue. I think there is no, I know there is, I've got it up there, a hickory smoke, which is, it's darker than perhaps a normal grey, but not quite black. I don't think it would have shown up on this paper. So there we go. Right, I am just going to quickly glue these in, and then we can move on. I like this bit. The book of memory. Like a book of sport, thou'lt read me over, but there's more in me than thou'lt understand. Yeah, that is I think journals are such a personal thing that when people, you invite people to have a flick through of your journal, perhaps, sometimes what one person sees isn't what the person meant when they were writing or drawing or destroying a page. Oops. Right. I need to get this the right way around. There we go. So that is my journal ready to do. I don't know what to do with the cover. I keep having brilliant ideas, and then it's sort of 2 in the morning. All I've got so far is a 2021 sticker, which I've printed off. I've edged in black again. Oh, just going to stick on it. You never know. It may or may not have much to go in it. Let's all hope, eh, that the world sorts itself out. Right, so that is my journal so far. I have printed off. I actually printed it on vellum because I've an idea of a picture I want for the cover page, but I do want a little diary on the front. I thought it might be fun. And I've been practicing my handwriting, but it's rubbish, so I'm thinking that might go on there somewhere. But you know what, I think after my struggles with a flat spine, I think I might just go back to curved spines. Right, onwards and upwards. I think that's probably enough for today, and I'll do another one tomorrow. Right, you take care, bye.